Welcome back to the BoS Reaction Series, where we take the videos that you send to us and we react to them. And today we're very blessed to have Bhai Gurpreet on from Saving Punjab. So thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, President.
And we've already made a video with Bhai Gurpreet Ji before on our channel. Check that out on BoS TV, a podcast into Saving Punjab. How can we save Punjab? And that will give you an inside introduction, just scraping the surface of, why is Punjab so important to us as Sikh? And what we're going to do today is that we're going to look at some videos that Bhai Gurpreet Singh Ji's found and the Sangha that have sent to us as well about certain issues in Punjab that were mentioned in that first video that we made. So looking at topics such as language and education, drugs and the water issues that are taking place in Punjab right now. So just before we start the first video, we're going to start off with language and education, right?
Hanji, yes.
So what is this video? Just give us an introduction to what this video is, what's going on, why is this important, why is education important and language important when it comes to saving Punjab?
So I think the topic itself, it's a huge topic. I mean, I think we could spend the entirety of this video just talking about the education and language, but I think language is specifically important because I think I said this before as well, that your language, it determines many things about your future. So there's a saying that says your language determines your values determine your behavior, and your behavior determines your outcomes. So if your language is changed, it changes your outcomes. And language itself, it's very important, especially for us Punjabi, and understanding Punjabi is very key to understanding Gurbani and our Sabhyachar, our culture. And one of the things that India is doing to Punjab, it's this one nation, one language, which is, it's not a conspiracy theory. It's quite a prominent campaign where Amit Shah and even people like Gurdas Maan have been talking about one nation, one language. And the aim is to eradicate, well, it's not to eradicate, it's to eventually have one language that is the national language. But within that, the kind of repercussions of that will be to eradicate these languages that aren't as prominent.
What language is that? Hindi, right?
So Hindi, yeah. Hindi, Hindu, Hindustan is the kind of the national, what you could say, one nation, one language that is being pushed by actual people like Amit Shah and many other from the government itself. So Lakha Sidana this video is of an activist called Lakha Sidana. He goes into a school where we have been talking for many years now. People aren't allowed to speak Punjabi in schools. They get fined for speaking Punjabi in schools. And it's been happening for years and years. And we know of many cases, but it's taken, a video like this where he's had to go in and confront the head teacher and the students are with him. And he's an activist, a kind of Punjabi activist that highlights the issues in Punjab at the moment, whether it's the water issue, what's going on with the drugs, and again, the education system and how it's becoming corrupt. And he goes into this school, and I think it's a good point for us to kind of understand and watch this video, then we can dissect it further. So I'm just going to press play.
ਜਿੱਥੇ ਜਲ ਵੱਢੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਤਸਵੀਰਾਂ ਦਿਖਾ ਉੱਪਰ ਇਧਰਲੀ ਤਸਵੀਰ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਂਡਗਵਾਰ ਹੋਇਆ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਆਰਐਸਐਸ ਦਾ ਮੁਖੀ ਤੇ ਇਧਰ ਦੀ ਗੋਲਵਾਲ ਕਰਦੀ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਸਕੂਲ ਦੀਆਂ ਤਸਵੀਰਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਰਬਹਿਤਕਾਰੀ.
So the first picture you can see on the left hand side there is Keshav Baliram Hejwar, and he's the founder of this paramilitary, you can call it. It's the Rashtriya Socio-economic Sangh, also known as the right-wing Hindu Nationalist Party, and he's the founder of that. And the other one you can see is Gulwarkar. He is also the second after him.
ਸਕੂਲ ਦੀਆਂ ਤਸਵੀਰਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਰਬਹਿਤਕਾਰੀ ਸਕੂਲ ਸਰਬਹਿਤਕਾਰੀ ਵਿਦਿਆ ਮੰਦਿਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਘੱਟੋ ਘੱਟ 100 ਤੋਂ ਉੱਪਰ 125 ਦੇ ਕਰੀਬ ਸਕੂਲ ਹੋਣੇ ਆ.
So what is the Vidya Partiya Vidya? It's basically the schools that have the ideology of the RSS. And if anyone doesn't know about the RSS, I suggest that you do a little bit of research into what the RSS is. But without going into too many details, we will be kind of following this up with a series of an in-depth into what the ideology and what they are what they're doing in Punjab in terms of changing our curriculum, our ideology, our language. So there's many kind of subtle and not so subtle, overt and covert techniques that they're deploying within Punjab. But he's calling out this head teacher that's sitting in this, in this position with these pictures and asking him, being a Punjabi and in a position of a head teacher, what are you doing within the school with some of the issues that the school students have brought forward? So we'll carry on this video.
ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰਿੰਸੀਪਲ ਆ ਮਹਾਸ਼ੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਆ ਨਾਮ ਦੱਸੋ ਜੀ ਆਪਣਾ ਕੀ ਹੈ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਆ ਜੀ ਹਿਮਾਚਲ ਤੋਂ ਆ ਕਿਤਾਬ ਕਰੀ ਯਾਰ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਦੀ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਪੜ੍ਹ ਕੇ ਸੁਣਾਓ ਜੀ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਪੜ੍ਹਿਓ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਤੀ ਸਰ ਪੜ੍ਹਨੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਨਹੀਂ
So just to pause here, what's going on here? So he just put a book in front of him in Punjabi, and this is the head teacher, right?
Yeah, he's the head teacher of the school.
And he's asking him to read that book.
And he doesn't know Punjabi. He doesn't even speak Punjabi.
And why is that an issue?
Because, I mean, if you understand how education system works, your head teacher should be the most educated person within the school in terms of being able to lead. Now, if you are running a school in Punjab, the main language that you should be teaching is Punjabi. It's like having a head teacher of an English school and not being able to read English. It wouldn't happen. It wouldn't be allowed. The basic is to know the language of the actual state. So Lakasadana has gone in and he's asked him to just read a little passage from this book, and he's unable to read it, which is a huge cause for concern being a school in Punjab. And then also he addresses some of the other issues, so we just carry on watching.
ਦੱਸੋ ਜੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪ੍ਰਬੰਧਕ ਬੈਠੇ ਹੋ ਸਕੂਲ ਦੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਹਿੰਦੂ ਆ ਮਾਂ ਬੋਲੀ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦੇ ਹਿੰਦੂ ਦੀ ਵੀ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਹੈ ਸਿੱਖ ਦੀ ਵੀ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਮੁਸਲਮਾਨ ਦੀ ਵੀ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਨਹੀਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਆਰਐਸਐਸ ਦੀਆਂ ਨੀਤੀਆਂ ਕਿਉਂ ਥੋਪ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਸਕੂਲ 'ਚ ਦੱਸੋ
So when he says RSS ਦੀਆਂ ਨੀਤੀਆਂ, so just to understand what the RSS is, it's kind of a modern day ideology started around the 1920s, and the ideology kind of pushes to this homogenized majority where they want to kind of paint everyone with the same brush as being kind of a Hindu nation, kind of bordering on fascism, you could say. And it's this kind of right-wing extremism that is, let's say it's targeting many minorities throughout India. And that's not me saying that as an opinion. That's many kind of evidence-backed, whether it's the Christians, whether it's the Muslims, whether it's the Sikh, the Jain, the scheduled caste, that are facing atrocities by the hands of this kind of right-wing movement. And the whole kind of aspect on ideology that they push is very pro-nationalist and very anti anything non-Hindu, non-Hindi. And even you would have seen kind of anyone that's been following for a while what's going on in India. They push this very Jai Shri Ram, you have to say certain things and push the religion on Muslims. Like many Muslims have been killed in India because of something called a cow rakya. So they've got this police which is called cow police in India, and any Muslims driving with a cow in the back of their truck that they might be taking to the slaughterhouse, many have been killed in the last 5 years just because of this go rakya. So it's kind of many problems India's facing. I think it's moving from a secular to more of a ethno-religious nation. It's shifting to more of becoming Hindustan, especially with the current climate of with them saying that we don't want to be called India anymore, we want to be called Bharat, and it kind of fits back into this ideology. So we'll carry on watching and see.
ਵਿਦਿਆ ਭਾਰਤੀ ਛੱਡ ਕੀ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਇਹ ਆਗਿਆ ਦਿੰਦੀ ਆ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਕੂਲ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰਿੰਸੀਪਲ ਨੂੰ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਪੜ੍ਹਨੀ ਲਿਖਣੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਉਹ ਹਿਮਾਚਲ ਤੋਂ ਲਿਆ ਕੇ ਬੰਦਾ ਬਿਠਾਤਾ ਇਹ ਜਵਾਕ ਖੜੇ ਆ ਸਾਰੇ ਹੁਣ ਸੁਣੋ ਇੱਕ ਮਿੰਟ ਆਨਸਰ ਸੁਣੋ ਇਹ ਖੜ ਜਾ ਇੱਕ ਮਿੰਟ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੱਸੋ ਬਾਈ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਬੋਲਣ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਹੈ 80%।
So you can see clearly that the students are saying they're not allowed to speak Punjabi in a Punjabi school. And, you know, many people say, well, what's the problem with that? They're promoting, you know, English. It's the more modern language, and, you know, Hindi's the national language. Why? What's the issue with them not speaking Punjabi? And I kind of reiterate this again. Your language is so important for your future in terms of your understanding your culture, understanding your dharam. Your language is a place that they start to change when they want to change the outcomes of a civilization. And, you know, there's examples of how language changed could cause many issues in the future of you know, whether it's a religion, whether it's a set of culture or people. And, you know, even us listening today at home, you know, how knowledgeable are we on our own language, Punjabi? You know, I think I would say I'm not great, I'm trying, but, you know, just the simple things that you would learn in a, you know, as a child, whether it's the shapes, whether it's the colors, whether it's the ABC. And I remember I asked you last time, what do you call triangle in Punjabi?
I knew this was coming as well. And I was thinking, I better remember it. Is that the corner or something?
Yes,
Is it?
yes, yes.
1-0. 1-0 to basis of
Okay,
Sikhi.
what's a school in Punjabi?
Schooler?
Yeah. So like even simple things like a school or a pen frade, we don't say kalam frade.
Yeah, that's true.
We all say teacher.
Hanji.
We don't say, what is it?
I would say Ustad, but I'm guessing you're not going to go
The
with that.
apuk, is it? Like there's many words that where now we just adopt the English word, you know, and it's scary that if we're doing this as a generation and kind of 2 generations in, what's going to be like in a couple more generations.
You know what's interesting is that, like, I'm not saying I agree with it, but I can understand if they were trying to be more modern and teach English or whether that was, let's just say Hindi, for example. But they're saying here specifically that they're banned from speaking Punjabi in the school outright.
Yeah.
So, like, you know, like when we went to school, I'm sure you had foreign students and they would speak their own languages. That wasn't frowned upon. That wasn't like, you can't do that. So this is, you know, this is more than just something educational. This is, again, like you're saying, it's much more deep rooted. And just one thing that was going through my mind when I was thinking about this was like, you know, if you look at the horse, like in terms of, in those days, it was in your face. Do you get what I mean? If you're being oppressed, it was in your face. Like at the point where they banned, you know, people from saying Vaheguru, even saying God, referring to like, you know, sugar in that respect. Because it was very similar to saying Guru. So they would ban these terms. So, you know, from people saying that, or the Sikh. But this is almost like in a more of a subtle kind of way. But the attack is the same, right? Which is on the language.
They changed the way they wanted to tackle us. Whether it was first the bullet, now it's done through a covert technique of, you know, the generation that stays in Punjab is either hooked to drugs, which we're going to kind of watch a few videos on, and the ones that, you know, become educated, the education is diluted. The ones that want to know about Sikhi Ityas, which we'll watch a video on, is their Ityas is diluted. And then those that kind of say rise above that and kind of might be able to see past these things, then they dangle the islets and the migration for them and just say, look, leave. And the statistics of migration at the moment are absolutely scary. If you look at the national average of India per 10,000, the national average of out-migration is 132. Punjab's average is 1,052. Wow. So it's, you know, nearly 10 times more. Yeah. And if you look at the statistics, which we'll show on the screen now, it will blow your mind away of how Punjab is in comparison to the rest of India. And why is that? Why is Punjab? Why? And, you know, with out-migration comes so many problems, whether that's muscle drain, brain drain, and there's a void in Punjab, which is then filled by a different demographics. And you can understand that is now the workforce that's coming in from Bihar and Uttar Pradesh, which are coming into Punjab. And, you know, there is issues that come with that as well, like, again, dilution of culture, of language, furthermore. And even like just last week, there was there was a study that I was looking at, and it talking about how the demographics of Punjab changing has caused a rise in certain statistics. And I was looking predominantly at rape, and the statistics were worrying, especially with the demographics of Punjab changing, something that which was never seen of. Punjab was known as the safest place for women at one point, and now it's shame to say that a 13-year-old girl got gang raped by 5 people in Amritsar, even to the point of in a Kapurthala area there was a case of a 2-month-old girl being raped. So the kind of things that are going on in Punjab at the moment are that once were unheard of in what we would heard of Rangla Punjab, are now kind of creeping in, and it's changing Punjab. And I'm not saying that all that is happening just because the demographics are changing, but there is certain things that are happening in Punjab because the demographics are changing. Chain snatching, which wasn't once heard of in Punjab, crime and other things that are weren't prominent in Punjab are now becoming prominent. So it's, you can say the overt and covert strategies, going back to what we were saying, they've changed. People might think of them as conspiracy theories. No, you guys are just think this is, they're doing this to Punjab. But here's a video that's clear as day, that the RSS has 123 schools in Punjab. That's shocking in the first place. And out of them 123 schools, this is just one example of one of the schools where they're pushing that Punjabi shouldn't be spoken, and they're pushing an ideology. And further on in this video, you will see how that ideology is further creeping in.
ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਡੀ ਐਸੀ ਜੜ ਪੱਟ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਨਾਲੇ ਆਪ ਵੀ ਪੱਟ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਖਾਣੇ ਹੋ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਦਾ, ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਚੋਂ, ਪਰ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਬੋਲੀ ਦੇ ਕਿਉਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਏ? ਮੈਨੂੰ ਗੱਲ ਦਾ ਜਵਾਬ ਦਿਓ। ਇਹ ਝੂਠ ਬੋਲਦੇ ਜਵਾਕ, ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਕੂਲ ਦੇ ਜਵਾਕ ਹਨ।
ਇੱਕ ਮਿੰਟ ਸੁਣੋ, ਮੈਂ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ 'ਚ ਗੱਲ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ
ਹਾਂ,
ਠੀਕ ਹੈ।
ਤੂੰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਆ ਦੇਖੀ, ਔਰ ਕਰ ਨੇੜੇ ਕਰ ਯਾਰ, ਆ ਦੇਖ, ਆ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ 'ਚ
ਨਹੀਂ, ਇਹ ਆਪਣਾ ਹਿੰਦੀ 'ਚ ਹੈ।
ਹਾਂ,
ਕਲੀਅਰਲੀ
ਕਿਉਂ
ਲਿਖਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ।
ਕਿਉਂ? ਇਹ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਕਾਨੂੰਨ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ? ਇਹ ਕੀ ਭਾਰਤੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮੰਨ ਲਾ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਨਵੀਂ ਐਜੂਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਪਾਲਿਸੀ ਆਈ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਆ? ਜਾਂ ਨੰਬਰ 2 ਕੀ ਇਹ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮਦਰ ਲੈਂਗੁਏਜ ਐਕਟ ਬਣਿਆ 1967 ਦਾ ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਵਾਕਾਂ ਦੇ ਆ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਬੋਲਣ ਤੋਂ ਰੋਕੋ, ਤੇ ਆ ਉੱਤੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਲਿਖੋ ਜੇਬਾਂ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਲਾਓ ਸਟicker ਪੋਸਟਰ ਵਗੈਰਾ ਲਿਖੋ ਸਕੂਲ ਦਾ, ਉਹ ਹਿੰਦੀ 'ਚ ਲਿਖੋ। ਇਹ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਕਾਨੂੰਨ, ਕਿਹੜਾ ਸੰਵਿਧਾਨ?
So you can see that the 1967 Act that he's talking about was brought in. So just to understand why Punjab was created, it was created because so the whole of India was reorganized in 1955, and that was reorganized on linguistic basis. So where languages spoken, borderlines were made, and Punjab was the only state in the whole of India which wasn't given its language Punjabi, because they said that there wasn't enough people speaking Punjabi within there. So it took a 10-year movement of the Punjabi Sabha movement, in which Punjab was created, but after trifurcated, Himachal and Haryana was broken away. And the 1966 Reorganization Act, which brought Punjabi as being the main language of Punjab, they brought in 1967 the Punjabi Speaking Act, which then spoke about how all the kind of administration and everything in that state needs to be Punjabi as his main language. The problem that happened was they gave Punjab a capital, which is Chandigarh, and Chandigarh is a union territory because it goes with Haryana. So the union territory is directly under the control of the central government. This is a way that they divide and conquer. They keep in control of a state. They've just done it with Kashmir with Article 370. They break the state. They broke Ladakh and Kashmir. They make it a union territory, and union territory is directly under the control of the central government. And then what happens is they use that then to, so the administrative language of the courts of Punjab right now is Hindi, because the central government is in charge of the courts of Haryana and Chandigarh is the capital of Punjab. So the issue that you have in then is this 1967 Act, which says that all the language and administration in Punjab needs to be Punjabi, but you've got clearly there the school jumpers and t-shirts that are printed, they're all printed in Hindi, and which would mean that the kids would need to be fluent in that language to understand that, which is what they're trying to promote. So just going to move on to the next part.
ਇਹ ਬਰਦਾਸ਼ਤ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਣੀਆਂ ਦਵਿੰਦਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਗੱਲਾਂ, ਇਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਦੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਨੂੰ ਮਾਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਰਐਸਐਸ ਦੀ ਪਾਲਿਸੀ ਲਾਗੂ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਆਰਐਸਐਸ ਦੀ ਆਈਡੀਓਲੋਜੀ ਕੀ ਹੈ ਦੱਸ
ਮੈਂ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਗਲਤ ਗੱਲ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਕੋਈ ਆਈਡੀਓਲੋਜੀ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ
ਫਿਰ ਜੇ ਆਈਡੀਓਲੋਜੀ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਜੇ ਆਈਡੀਓਲੋਜੀ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਗੋਲਵਾਲਕਰ ਦੀ ਫੋਟੋ ਕਿਉਂ ਆ ਹੰਡੇਵਾਰ ਵਰਗੀ ਇਹਦੀ ਹੰਡੇਵਾਰ ਦੀ ਫੋਟੋ ਕਿਉਂ ਆ
ਇਹ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਸਕੂਲ ਹੈ
ਤੇ ਤੂੰ ਕੌਣ ਦਾ ਬੰਦਾ ਬਲਾ
ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਆਪਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਵਧੀਆ ਬੰਦਾ ਬੁਲਾਉਣਾ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ ਇੱਕ ਰਿਟਨ ਦੇਵਾਂਗੇ
ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਬਿਠਾਇਆ ਗਿਆ ਇਹ ਆਪ ਦੀ ਹਿਮਾਚਲ ਤੋਂ
ਕਿਵੇਂ ਆ ਗਿਆ ਇਹ
ਫਿਰ ਵਿਦਿਆ ਭਾਰਤੀ ਨੇ ਬਿਠਾਇਆ
ਗੱਲ ਸੁਣ ਗੱਲ ਰਵਿੰਦਰ ਸਿੰਘ ਗੱਲ ਸੁਣ
One of the things here is they all the ASI officers, many of the main high post police officers in Punjab are non-Punjabis. It's kind of something that they pushed in the 80s and 90s because the police officers that were Punjabi were actually, you know, many of them were helping the Singhs at that time. So they had a distrust with the, you know, the Punjabi Sikh and even the Sikh army. You know, even during 84, many of them rebelled and joined the, you know, the revolution to kind of fight against the injustice that was going on. So I think like it's one of them things that even you can see that they're pushing non-Punjabi Sikh people into positions of power in Punjab. It's a way of controlling and keeping control. But there's a further part in this video that I want you guys to see.
ਅਗਲੀ ਗੱਲ ਦੇਖ ਲੈ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਆ ਚਿੱਟੀ ਸ਼ਰਟ ਖਾਕੀ ਪੈਂਟ ਇਹ ਟੀਚਰਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਹਾ ਗਿਆ ਇਹ ਚਿੱਟੀ ਸ਼ਰਟ ਤੇ ਖਾਕੀ ਪੈਂਟ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਆਰਐਸਐਸ ਦੀ ਵਰਦੀ ਹੈ
ਆਪਾਂ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਦੇਖੋ
So the teachers have been told to wear a white shirt and a khaki pant, which is the uniform clearly seen as the RSS uniform. And the comparison between the RSS in terms of its ideology, in terms of its ideas, its uniform, the way the military works and the kind of how it runs its program is so, you know, uncannily similar to the Nazi movement. Like this, if you compare the two movements in terms of how they compare, it's worrying, especially if you look at quotes from Gulwarkar, the picture on the actual head teacher's office at the back there, he has quotes where he's openly praised Hitler in what he did. So you know, the ideologies are matching, but the uniforms, especially with the khaki and the white and how it kind of resembles many of the things that Hitler brought into his regime, is scary. So like here's just one of the videos of language that, you know, is shocking of what's going on in Punjab at the moment.
And just following up from this, what's happened to Lakha Sadana since then? He was arrested, right?
Yeah, so he was arrested. He's on bail at the moment, and it was because they put a case against him for, you know, public disorder and causing an issue as such. So it's a way that they suppress, and one of the kind of next topics that we're going to go on to is the drugs issue. And it's the same happening in the drugs issue, where you have any activist that comes forward and starts speaking about the drugs issue in Punjab, you know, they're either arrested. Bhai Amritpal Singh has been, you know, what was he doing? He was getting people to take Amrit, and he was stopping people, or, you know, giving some people rehabilitation. And there was another guy called Chota, they used to call him, his full name being Parvinder Singh, and he was also calling out this network of police, peddlers and politicians in Punjab which are pushing drugs, and they're all a part of a huge nexus and you know, a network in which they all work together. This is why one of the main issues why the drugs in Punjab are so hard to shake, because the political parties and the police are so invested and involved within the drugs rings, and it's the corruption is to the very, very core. And you could see this activist, this Parvinder Singh, you know, he got arrested because he was calling out. What he started to do was he started to actually take the law into his own hands. Where there was drug dealers in villages, he would go there and just deal with them and just beat them up and make sure that there's no drugs in that village. And when he was arrested, you can see his fingertips, a picture of his fingertips. He's been electrocuted on his fingertips, just to kind of show that this is what's going to happen, and this is how it's challenging the system. So we're going to show a video now of one of the villages in Punjab and how the drugs are being pushed in that village. So this video here that is of a village in Punjab, and this activist is going through the village and he is showing a certain time of the day how many Punjabi youth are sitting there waiting for the drug dealer to come so they can take nasha. So let's have a look.
ਨੰਗਣ ਨੂੰ ਰਾਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਨੰਗਣ ਰਾਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ ਤੇ ਕੀ ਬਣ ਡਿਆ ਤੇ ਆਵੇ ਆ ਸਾਰਾ ਨਸ਼ਾ ਹੀ ਲੈਣ ਆਏ ਹੋਰ ਕੀ ਆ ਆ ਸਭ ਨਸ਼ਾ ਵਿਕਣ ਡਿਆ ਇੱਥੇ ਆ ਵੇਖੋ ਠਾਣ ਕਾ ਮੂੰਹ ਕਰਦੇ ਜੋ ਐਨ ਮੂੰਹ ਕਰ ਹਾਂ ਹਾਂ ਲੈਣਾ ਮਿਲ ਗਿਆ ਹੀ ਚੱਲ ਫਿਰ ਇਥੋਂ ਦੇ ਪੈਣਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਵੇਖੀ ਡਾਲਨੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਤੋਂ
I think the crazy thing for me watching this video is that, like many people that are probably watching this reaction video right now, you know, when I used to go to India when I was a kid, I'd go to the pind, and that looks like my pind. Literally, obviously, most pins look the same. And to think that if I was to go back to my pind today and to see this, I'd be so shocked from where I would go 15 years ago, and you know, I could play down the gulliya, you know, play football, play cricket. And to think that now, you know, and this is probably somebody's been who's watching this, thinking that, look what's going on. Like, that's crazy, man. To think.
The other scary part of it is, if you look throughout the video, how many Punjab was known as these, you know, Shefut Gabru Punjab, you know, the warriors of the, you know, of the Sikh nation that, you know, came from this Tarti, which, you know, created these, you know, built solid warriors.
Yeah.
And you can't see that in this video. You can't even see the Star Wale Sikh. And, you know, a part of me says, you know, at least they're not the Star Wale Sikh that are taking Nasha. But, you know, if you carry on watching the video, you will see the Star Wale Singhs as well. And, you know, I think the scary part of this is this is one village where, you know, the village itself is this person from the village is exposing how the youth and the people of the village are, you know, so highly addicted to drugs. And this is the kind of information and the surveys that people say, no, Punjab, there's nothing going on in Punjab. When you see things like this, it actually puts into place the statistics that we've been finding from our kind of research. And the statistics will blow your mind away. So the National Crime Record Bureau report of Punjab, of India 2022, Punjab is the highest in the NDPD acts for narcotics. So we're the highest in narcotics. We're the third highest in overdose. From, you know, certain time periods of like 2011, 2014, 50% of the entire country's drugs were found in Punjab. And remember, Punjab is just a 1.53 geographical area. It's a tiny, tiny percentage where 50% of your drugs are being found. The statistics going on, like, you know, one of the other statistics that always blows my mind. So the population of India is 1.4 billion. Out of them, the entire population, how many people are in jail because of drugs? 44% of them are from Punjab. And Punjab only contributes to a 2% population.
Wow.
So a 2% population is contributing to 44.5% of the people in jail because of drugs. And that's according to the 2022 report. Other reports of the war on drugs by the United Nations talks about this Golden Crescent, which is the major corridor of drugs, international drug trafficking by another document by the CIA government, which talks about how Punjab's drugs are kind of is the key corridor of South Asia of bringing the drugs in and out. And then, you know, it comes down to saying, India is very quick to blame the book on other countries like Pakistan is sending the drugs in. But how is India allowing them drugs to be bought into Punjab, or is it intentional? Like, I always ask this question, if it was because it's a bordering state. Well, Rajasthan is a bordering state. Gujarat is a bordering state. Why they not have got a huge drug epidemic? Why are the statistics showing that 73% of the rural youth of Rajasthan or Gujarat are addicted to drugs like Punjab's youth are? 73% of Punjab's rural youth aged 18 to 35 is addicted to drugs. Imagine 73% of your youth addicted to drugs. What future will you have? And again, we'll just carry on watching this video and you can see, you know, it hurts just to watch something like this.
ਸਭ ਨਸ਼ਾ ਲੈਣਾ ਸਾਰੇ ਨਸ਼ੇ ਵਾਲੇ
ਇੱਕੋ ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਹਰਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਮੇਲਾ
ਇਹ ਕੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਮੇਲਾ ਮੈਂ ਖਤਮ ਕਰੂੰ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਮੇਲਾ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਮੇਲਾ ਮੈਂ ਚੰਗੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਕਰਾਂ ਤੂੰ ਕਿਦਾਂ ਚੁੰਨੀ ਕੀਤੀ ਆ ਮੂੰਹ ਤੇ ਇਧਰ ਮੂੰਹ ਕਰ ਹਾਂ ਕਰ ਇਹਨੂੰ ਹਾਂ ਕਰ ਹਾਂ ਕਿੱਧਰ ਆਇਆ ਇੱਥੇ ਹੈ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਕੰਮ ਆ ਇੱਥੇ ਤੇਰਾ ਕੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਤੇਰਾ ਦਿਹਾੜੀ ਮੈਂ ਕੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਢਾਊਂ ਕਰੀ ਮੈਂ ਦਿਹਾੜੀ ਠੀਕ ਆ ਨਾ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਮੈਂ ਦੱਸਦਾ ਪਤਾ ਹਾਂ ਤੂੰ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਓਏ ਖਵਾਲੀ ਵਾ ਕੀ ਕਰਨਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਹੈ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਕੰਮ ਇੱਥੇ ਚਿੱਟਾ ਲੈਣਾ ਆ
I mean, just look at the faces. You know, this clearly we're missing something here. 75% of the world's Sikh population live in Punjab at the moment. And if this is where 75% of our Sikh population is living, and this is the halat of that, then we need to really reconsider of where our energy and our time and effort should be focused on at the moment. If we want to see Sikhi flourish, or we want to push, our dharm forward, then we need to focus on Punjab, and it's so important. And it kind of comes back to looking at this and thinking there needs to be more prachar in Punjab. Sikhi is the answer to a lot of these issues. If they had Sikhi, then they wouldn't go towards Nasha. And we need to think about, okay, as a Panth, it's good that we do outreach work. We go to other countries when they're in struggling, and we should help all. But there's a Shabad that comes to mind, and I know the context of the Shabad is not that. Mana says kar sukh vasya bar sukh paya, and Guru Sahib's talking about the body there, and he's talking about if you're sukhi internally, then you're sukhi outwards. But if you take that to the worldly perspective of our kar at the moment is Punjab, because 75% of our world's Sikh population live there. So if we can make Punjab happy and flourishing, and the Sikh of Punjab flourishing, then I would say that's an investment to the rest of the world. Why? Because 75% of a population where they do ardas 3 times a day of what? Sarbat da pala. Them Sikh, the Sikh that you see a glimpse of what Maharaja Ranjit Singh's Raj was like, where people didn't go, unfed, where there was no capital punishment. And a glimpse of that was the Kisan Morcha. You see what happened in the Kisan Morcha, where the Gharib kids of the streets of Delhi till today are saying, oh, Dadi wale Babe kitte gaye? Where are them Pag wale Babe that kept us fed for a year, that kept us happy for a year? And that's a glimpse of what a Sikh is. A Sikh will always make sure that the weak are protected. A Sikh will always make sure that the Khalsa will always make sure, Khalsa so jo nirtan ko paale, Khalsa so jo dusht ko galle, Khalsa jo naam jap kare, Khalsa jo malay se chade. These are the attributes of a Khalsa. There is no malaise, there is no julum, there is, that we will make sure everyone is happy. The philosophy of Guru Nanak Maharaj is Begumpur. And it's that you can see clearly that we're going something's going wrong in Punjab, where we've all, our families, our parents, our grandparents, we migrated out. But have we neglected Punjab? I feel like at the moment we have a duty to give back to Punjab, and we need to basically step up our games. If this is your village, or your village is like this, then we should be working to make sure it's not. We can start schemes like we say, prizes for the village that becomes nasha mukt, that becomes free of drugs, and kind of I don't have all the answers to me right now, but there is, our team, the Saving Punjab team, is sitting there and it's strategizing how we could tackle these kind of issues. And we want to hear what you guys think on how we can tackle these issues, because everything manifests from that idea, and then we can work on it.
Just one thing that you mentioned earlier, please let me know if I'm wrong. So you're saying 75% of the Sikh population is in Punjab.
Yes.
But then also in Punjab, 73% of our youth are addicted to drugs.
Yeah.
So that's 75% of Sikhi in Punjab, and 70% of the rural youth are addicted to drugs.
Yes.
So that's just a crazy
and that is me being really lenient on the statistics. Why? Because we did a survey ourselves called the MyPrint survey, and the MyPrint survey, the data we crunched out of the 15,000 people that filled it out, the statistics were 86%.
Wow.
86% people said that there's 86% of the people of Punjab are currently taking some kind of drugs. The funny one was last year the health minister of Punjab, he released a statement in which he said alcohol isn't an intoxicant. He doesn't actually class it as a drug or something that is harmful. So he goes, "Sharab nasha nahi hai," which in itself, the statement coming from a health minister, especially with what's going on in the world and them studying how alcohol could be so damaging to the body and everything else. The Punjab's health minister is saying that alcohol sharab nasha nahi hai. And within that, you can see Punjab has around 12,000 primary schools, but has around 14,000 sharab de teke.
Wow.
So we've got more sharab de teke than primary schools in Punjab, which is again another shocking statistic. I want to show you this video of a Naujuan in a Punjab print.
ਕੀ ਕਰਦਾ ਪਿਆ ਇਹ ਟੀਕੇ ਲਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਇਹ ਹਾਲ ਨੇ ਹੈ ਓਏ
So you can clearly see, how old do you think he is? Maybe early teens?
Yeah.
A statistic that we found recently talked about how the ages from 10 to 12, there's been a huge spike in drugs and intoxication within Punjab. The tribunal reports showing that alcoholism is the highest amongst the children of Punjab. So you can clearly see videos like this. There was another video, and we could put it in if I find it. It's about a Machi Wala jungle, where Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, after the Battle of Jamgaur, spent time. A Naujuan found dead within the jungle with a tika in his arm again. Countless videos that you can see on the kind of Saving Punjab page with the war on drugs. Mothers crying, finding their dead sons' bodies just laying out in gulliyan. It's shocking. When you see these videos and see this is the kind of state of that Rangla Punjab. But Punjab is, even though all this is going on, you still, when you go there, you feel a connection, because the tarti itself is, it's enriched with the blood of our forefathers, and they give everything for that tarti. I had a friend that went to Punjab recently, and even though he knew of all these issues and saw all these issues, he still felt a deep connection. So Punjab is still our Punjab, and we still, have that deep connection to it. But we have a duty to now think, okay, how do we tackle, this? Why did this individual, this Naujuan, feel like he needs to start injecting himself with heroin?
A silly question could be of asking you is that how does he even get the drugs? How does he afford the drugs? How do these people, because a lot of the Naujuan, I'm guessing they don't work, but so where are they getting the money to get these drugs?
There's a Guru Nanak Dev Ji University report which talks about the prices of drugs nationally through India, and the rest of India's prices on drugs is 5 times more than what's sold in Punjab.
Wow.
So in terms of getting drugs, they are so readily available. It's unbelievable. Like I said, the politicians, the police, and the peddlers, they're all in a network with each other. If the police are the ones that, you can't go to the police and say, oh, someone in my village is selling drugs, because they're a part of that system. You can't go to the politicians because they're a part of that system. And it's become a part of the system, and it's the people that are in charge of Punjab. Remember, the police, the peddlers, and the politicians aren't in charge of Punjab. The people are. It's always with the people, and when the people cause and create a revolution, they could create change. The problem what we have is the people get scared, because if one stands up, they're going to think, oh, we could stamp that one. If 100 stamp up, it becomes hard. Stand up, it becomes hard for them. If thousands come to the streets and say, no, we're going to stop this, then they can't do anything. Who remembers Bhai Amritpal Singh now sitting in a jail in Assam? Everyone's just got on with their lives.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating that, people that try to do something, we always wait for a leader to come do it. No, it's not going to happen with it. We don't need a leader. We've got a leader. Mara says, Japaman Parmeshwar Pradhan. Pradhan, our leader, is Parmeshwar, is Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj. We've got our leader. We have to ourselves, every Sikh as a duty is a sawala ko Guru Sahib gave them, that a Guru is a Sikh and a Sikh is a Guru. Guru Sikh Guru vicho Guru Upadesh chalai. That they are one. So if you are a Sikh of the Guru, then you have a duty to stand up and make sure that this needs to stop. And if you're from Punjab or you're listening from outside of Punjab, we have to, and the minimum we can do, if we can't do something about it, is to raise our voice and shout about it and say this is happening. So in terms of the drugs issue in Punjab, it's kind of clear in front of you how bad the situation is. The statistics you can go see on the Saving Punjab page as well. So should we move on to the next part?
Yep. Did you want to go back to the education one, or?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's look at how the education in Punjab is being corrupted, specifically the Sikh history.
Because the last video was almost, you could almost understand as someone says, oh, this ain't that bad. But now you're actually going into the nitty gritty and showing the syllabus and what they actually say about Sikhi. So now it's much more evident.
Yeah.
You know, how they're distorting our itihas, how they're distorting our Sikhi in Punjab. Do you think they like steal from their parents and stuff then to like get their drugs or whatever?
Possibly, man. You know, you can see it as it becomes like a vicious cycle. Unemployment, which is already high in Punjab, leads on to free time, which leads on to drugs, and then drugs leads on to crime. Crime then also leads back on to social issues and many other things, which then furthers unemployment again. It's like it goes round and round and round in many kind of circles. So.
Okay, shout out to Saving Punjab, whoever these lot are.
किताब दा नाम है हिस्ट्री ऑफ पंजाब.
So just to give a bit of context, this guy's name is Baldev Singh Sirsa, and he's currently doing a morcha at the moment against the SGPC and CBSE, which is the Punjab kind of board which regulates the education in Punjab. And he's presenting 5 books, and these 5 books are saying, these books are taught at equivalent of A level in what would happen in the UK. So like Barmi the Ambuka, and they teach Sikh history in some depth. And let's just have a look at some of the things that these books are saying about Sikh history.
ਮਨਜੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਸੋਢੀ ਇਹ +2 ਦੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੜ੍ਹਾਉਣ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਉਹਨੇ ਤਿਆਰ ਕੀਤੀ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਇਸ ਕਿਤਾਬ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆ ਵੇਖ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ ਕਿ ਕਿਸ ਸਿੱਖ ਧਰਮ ਨੂੰ ਮੁੱਢੋਂ ਰੱਦ ਕਰਕੇ ਇਹਦੇ 'ਚ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਗਿਆ ਆ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਦੇਖੋ ਕਿ ਆ ਉੱਪਰ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਹੈ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇਵ ਨੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਹਿੰਦੂ ਰੀਤੀ ਰਿਵਾਜ ਦਾ ਵਿਰੋਧ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕੋਈ ਨਵੀਂ ਸੰਸਥਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਚਲਾਈ। ਉਹਦੇ ਬਾਰੇ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਗੱਲ ਇਹ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਤੇਗ ਬਹਾਦਰ ਜੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਬੰਗਾਲ ਤੋਂ ਵਾਪਸ ਆਏ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਵਿਦਰੋਹੀ ਹੋ ਗਏ, ਫਿਰ ਉੱਥੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸੀ ਉਹ ਲੁੱਟਾਂ ਖੋਹਾਂ ਚੋਰੀਆਂ ਡਕੈਤੀਆਂ ਤੇ ਕਤਲੋਗਾਰਤ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰਾਤੀ।
So to start off, they're saying about Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. They focus a lot on Guru Nanak Dev Ji Maharaj. They say Guru Nanak Maharaj ne koi nama dharam, so they didn't start a new religion, and they didn't basically speak out or challenge any of the Hindu rituals. Ritiyan rivajan. So any rituals or any practices, including cow worship, including the caste system, none of them were challenged by Guru Nanak Dev Ji. What's your viewpoint on that?
Well, if you just read Gurbani, then of course, even if you look at the Janeo, Rasa Kivar, then Maharaji speaks about how, the falsehood in that. Even the Sakyula Hardwar, a lot of Guru Maharaji Tahas is talking about that. So even though there's a lot of Shabads as well, I can find some on my phone as well, just talking about
loads this. Like Maharaj says, Char Varnik Karao. Maharaj talks about, the Tilk Guru Sahib talks about worshipping idols in Gurbani. Maharaj says, Puja kije naam ti aiye, bin naam puja na hove. That without naam there is no puja. You could do all the puja you want. Guru Sahib talks about arti, that arti is naam, and make your, how Guru Sahib talks in deep about all these rituals that Guru Sahib, kind of renounced. We for us, Guru Sahib centered everything around Shabad and Naam and contemplation. But and we don't favor any animal over anyone. For us, all animals are equal, innit?
Hmm.
Other than Sundays when you're not allowed to eat beef, innit? That was a joke, by the way.
Yeah.
No one cut that out.
That's
and
gonna
say-
cut out a short clip. That's it.
So we are equal opportunists. We don't differentiate against animals. Obviously, horses, hawks, and
Yeah.
the barge and them are favorable for us because Guru Sahib kept them.
So that was about Guru Nanak Ji, and the Ritiya, they said they didn't question. What were they saying about Noe Pasha Ji as well then?
So
on
we're
that
going to
video?
come back onto Nome Pasha Ji. There's actually this book. It says this as well, but there was something that came out last year, if I remember correctly. It was the National Council for Education and Research and Training of the Indian government, and they wrote it's like a manifesto which was called Medieval India, and in that last year they wrote Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji was a looter, and he went to jail, Gwalior's jail, because he was a criminal, and he didn't die as a martyr for the religion. He was killed because of his practices of crime. And this is something that they've released. It's called Medieval India. So let's watch the rest of this, and he comes back to Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj.
ਸਰਕਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਚੱਲਿਆ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਫੜ ਕੇ ਲੈ ਗਏ ਤੇ ਗਵਾਲੀਅਰ ਦੇ ਕਿਲੇ 'ਚ ਬੰਦ ਕਰਤਾ ਦੀ ਆ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਿਤਾਬ ਹੈ ਇਹ MS ਮਾਨ ਦੀ ਹੈ। ਆ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਿਤਾਬ ਹੈ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਉਹ ਕੁਛ ਹੀ ਹੈ। ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਤਾਂ ਬਿਲਕੁਲ ਇਹ ਸਿਰਾ ਹੀ ਲਾਇਆ ਕਿ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਨ ਉਹ ਹਿੰਦੂ ਧਰਮ ਦੇ ਇੱਕ ਪ੍ਰਚਾਰਕ ਸਨ। ਆ ਜੋ ਰਾਈਟਰਾਂ ਦੀ ਆਈ ਆ। ਤੀਸਰਾ ਆ ਹੈਗਾ ਹੈ AC ਅਰੋੜਾ, ਇਹ ਵੀ ਇਹੀ ਕੁਛ ਲਿਖ ਰਿਹਾ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਜੀ। ਆ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੇਖ ਲਓ ਆ ਸਾਰਾ, ਫਿਰ ਇਹ ਨਾ ਕਿਤੇ ਹੋਵੇ ਵੀ ਇਹ 'ਚ ਤੇ ਆ ਗਿਆ ਤੇ ਵਿਖਾਤਾ ਤੇ ਇਹ 'ਚ ਕਿਉਂ ਨਹੀਂ। ਇਹਦੇ 'ਚ ਇਹੀ ਕੁਛ ਆ ਗਿਆ। ਅੱਗੇ ਆ ਗਿਆ ਇਹ ਵੀ ਹਿਸਟਰੀ ਆਫ ਪੰਜਾਬ, ਇਹ ਵੀ +2 ਦੀ ਹੈ। ਇਹ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਕਿਤਾਬਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਵਿਖਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਇਹ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਹੀ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਹੈਗੀਆਂ ਨੇ +2 ਦੇ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਲਈ। ਇਹਦੀ ਇਹਦਾ ਇਸ ਕਿਤਾਬ ਦੀ ਲੇਖਕ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਉਹ ਇੱਕ ਬੀਬੀ ਹੈ ਜਿਹਦਾ ਨਾਂ ਹੈ M ਪਾਉਲ। ਇਹ M ਪਾਉਲ ਦੀ ਲਿਖੀ ਹੋਈ ਕਿਤਾਬ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਆ ਸਾਰਾ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੇਖ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ ਕਿ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇਵ ਜੀ ਨੇ ਕੋਈ ਵੱਖਰਾ ਧਰਮ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਉਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਚਲਾਇਆ। ਹਿੰਦੂ ਧਰਮ ਦੇ ਪ੍ਰਚਾਰਕ ਹੀ ਸਨ। ਲਿਖਿਆ ਨਾਨਕ ਕਾ ਗੁਰੂ ਇੱਕ ਮੁਸਲਮਾਨ ਥਾ।
So this is a huge agenda which is about, Sikh is a vakri, it's a vakrataram. It's a separate religion. It's a way of life. This is separate to Hinduism, and there's a campaign which wants to join the two so desperately. Whether it's our rituals, whether it's our festivals, however it is, they want to align the two for the average Sikh to subconsciously just think, oh well, they celebrate that, so do we. They also do this, so do we. And it's a way that the RSS has been working for many years. There's a book that was written by Dr. Gurpreet Singh Adoke called Jabe Ban Lagyo, Tabe Roz Jagyo. It's a book. It's written in Punjabi, but it's a must read into the kind of policies and the ways that they are working at the moment to fuse the two. I mean, even Article 25B of the Indian Constitution still today doesn't classify you as a Sikh. Did you know that? It says that the word Sikh is referenced as long-haired Hindus.
Wow.
Up until 2017, if your parents are married in India, they most likely had a Hindu registered marriage. There was no such thing as a Sikh Magistration Act. Sikh Marriage Act. There was no such thing. And you can see the whole point is to make you feel like you are just a sect. The Pesh Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj is as a Desh Bhagat as well. He fought for a united Hindustan, India, and gave the sacrifice of the Char Sahibzade. And one of the other policies that they push recently is when they're not trying to change history on one side, they promote certain aspects of history. So one of my findings in this was that they intentionally push the battles that the Sikh fought against the Mughals and kind of leave out the battles that the Sikh were fighting against the Hindu Raja. And I think we fought more battles against the Hindu Raja than we did against the Mughals. I think there was 7 battles, official battles, against the Mughals and up to 11 against the Hindu Raja. And you can see they push certain things like the Shahidi of the Sahibzade as being a Muslim and Sikh conflict. The Shahidi of Guru Arjan Dev Ji, a Sikh Muslim conflict. They push the agenda of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji's Shahidi as being, again, Muslims did this tyranny on Sikh. And, if you look at history, the Mughal period was very, very heavy and tense for the Sikh. But if you see what happened in Tarlokpura in 1984, which next year is the 40th anniversary, in the whole of the Mughal period, there's no reference to how many women were raped in the streets of Delhi than there were 40 years ago. And it's that history that is forgotten about, and the other history is focused on. And it's intentionally done where they will put a picture of Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj in textbooks and say that Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj is a Desh Bhagat, and he fought for the Desh, and he gave his sacrifice. And they did this whole, last year was a Bali Bavas Day, where they were celebrating the Char Sahibzade as being our brothers, as in the Hindu Rashtra were, and they were doing it in kind of way of promoting that, where we're celebrating the Sahibzade because they gave their life for this nation. So it's where. So let's carry on watching the rest of this, because this book that he's referencing now is a book that's a book that was written by the RSS on Sikh history, and is still used in today to study Sikh history in Punjab. So we're going to pause this video a few times just to see what they're saying.
नानक मुगलों को भारत में लाया, नानक ने हिंदू धर्म ही अपनाया था, नानक मर गया, अंगद आ गया, अर्जुन ने आत्महत्या करी थी.
So he says, Arjan ne Atmhatya kari si. So that means basically we're saying that Guru Arjan Dev Ji Maharaj committed suicide is one of the references he made in this book. Even like, disrespect to saying Nanak mar gaya, Angad aa gaya. Like there's been no kind of, Sikh nazariya, Sikh perspective of how we don't say Guru Nanak Maharaj passed away. Guru Nanak Maharaj Jyoti Jyot Samage. It was, we don't say Guru Sahib was born. It was Guru Sahib was Pargat. So even the language that they're bringing in will eventually, cause conflict in the future, because, it's references and history like this that we don't know in 100, 150, 200 years time. Someone might be referencing this and saying this was a part of the education in Punjab taught as Sikh history, and might use it as a reference that this is what it was.
अर्जुन के मरने के बाद हरगोबिंद का दिमागी संतुलन खो गया था. हरगोबिंद बहुत डरपोक आदमी था. सोते समय मौत के भय से 60 बंदूकधारी पहरे पर खड़े रखता था.
So he says, after Guru Arjan Dev Ji Shahidi, Guru Hargobind Sahib Maharaj suffered from mental illness. He was a darpok, so that means he was scared. He used to sleep with around 60 gunmen near his pillow because he was that scared on a night. What's your reaction to that? As in,
it's just it's almost scary to see the gap in knowledge from what we've learned, from our granths and our itihas, to see what they're teaching. And the scary thing is that if Sikh are reading this and they're believing it, and do you get what I mean? It's just a massive gap. Obviously, it's completely wrong, and it's just very sad to see what they're saying. But I'm more sad thinking about that Sikh that is sitting there, who could learn anything at the Gurdwara side, which is not going to now, where they could learn all this itihas, because it was taught in our Guru Kards, Gurbani Katha happened in the morning, itihas di Katha in the evening, and we'd hear all these prasangs, right? At the time of, Guru Arjan Dev Ji Shahidi, which takes place, May, June time, the whole prasang of Guru Arjan Dev Ji Shahidi takes place of, Guru Maharaj's, steadfastness, and what they wouldn't change even a word in Gurbani. When like the Qazis were saying, okay, if you change Gurbani, if you add the praise of Muhammad into Guru Granth Sahib Ji, we can get you off. Do you get what I mean? But Maharaj said, I wouldn't even change an akkar, I wouldn't even change a laga matar in Gurbani. And Shere Padsha Ji, what they even saved the emperor's life at the time, and they saved all the Hyderraja, and and their son saved the Hindu Dharam in that respect, innit? So it's like, for them to now twist everything, where they were the ones that were scared that were coming to the Guru. It's crazy to see what they've done.
This next bit is shocking as well.
आगे लिखा है कि हर राय के 2 बेटे थे. जब हर राय मरा उस वक्त बड़े बेटे की उम्र 15 वर्ष, छोटे की 6 वर्ष की थी, लेकिन बड़े बेटे को गद्दी नहीं दी गई क्योंकि वो नौकरानी के पेटो था.
So they said Guru Har Rai had 2 children, and the elder child was 15 years old. The younger one was 6. The Guru Gaddi was given to the younger one, Guru Har Krishna Sahib Ji, because the older one was born from a slave child. So that I'm lost for words. I can't even say, where do you begin to unpick that? It's it's planting that seed in people's mind of, this is something. And, in terms of Guru Gaddi, who it was given to and how it was, how it was passed on, who we to even question who was like for Guru Sahib to give Guru Sahib didn't give Guru Gaddi to his own children. Guru Nanak Maharaj, who the Guru Gaddi was given to was divine. It was from Waheguru themselves on who was capable to carry that message on. And to put the seed of doubt in people said that, it wasn't because of something like this is absolutely shocking.
You know what's crazy? Just a bit off topic. I remember watching a video from Hyde Park. You're at the Hyde Park corner.
Hanji.
Yeah, and they have the speaker's corner there. And I remember there was a Muslim on, and he was questioning a Sikh at the time who was there representing Sikhi, and he was talking about Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, and he gave one of these kind of crazy facts. So like, I'm just thinking that maybe even if it's not our own Sikh, other people, other Dharams are going to read this and they're going to think this is this Sikh itihas, and they're going to go to our Sikh, because when he said it to the other Sikh about Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, he if I remember correctly, he said something like Guru Sahib Ji committed crimes and that's why they arrested him, Norway Pacha, 9th Guru, and the Sikh just stumbled on his words. He didn't know what to say. So like, first of all, other people, other Dharams are going to use this, but then the scary thing is that us as Sikh, we don't even know our own itihas.
Absolutely.
And I guarantee, not to sound bad, but a lot of people don't even know the names of Guru Har Rai Sahib Ji's 2 sons, and we know that the elder son, Baba Ram Rai, what was the reason for why he was, not given the Guru Gaddi. So, this is also for us that are watching this. If we don't know the itihas of our 10 Gurus, from Guru Nanak Ji to Guru Gobind Singh Ji, and what happened and how the Guruship was passed on, then we need to learn that. Otherwise, we got a big problem on our hands, because one day one of these things might come to us that actually, Guru Arjan Dev Ji committed suicide, and we're not going to know what to say, because it might come in a textbook. It's in a textbook. And, that's going to cause so much problems for us.
I'll give you an example. There was an argument once about, someone was mentioning Aisha in the Quran and how Prophet Muhammad married when he was 56-year-old with Aisha, and she was of a certain age. And the argument back that this Muslim scholar gave was, and I was there, he was saying it to me, that Guru Angad Dev Ji Maharaj married a 14-year-old. And I, at the point, didn't have any answer to understand or saying, okay, I don't know when Guru Angad Dev Ji got married and who it was that he got married to. My history was really weak. And the history says, yes, he did. But he was 15 at the time himself. So they got married young when, they used to do a roka. They used to basically just get you married young when you were in that time period. So like, as in, I think it was, it's really important that you know your knowledge, and not knowing, even half knowledge is dangerous sometimes, of not knowing nothing at all. It's even, sometimes it's considered worse. So let's carry on with this one.
श्री गुरु तेग बहादुर पातशाह बारे लिखा कि तेग बहादुर हंसी के पास जंगलों में लुक छुप के रहता था, चोरों डकैतों सरकार के बागियों को पनाह देता था। जब सरकार को पता चला, पकड़ के ले गए और कत्ल कर दिया। आगे लिखा कि गोविंद
So Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj used to live amongst this certain jungle, and he used to hide out in this jungle and do lutta kohan dakaitan, like a daku basically, and used to loot people. And then when this Sarkar found him, they took him to jail and then they killed him. So again, a huge thing that's written against Sikh itihas.
ने पुत्रों के वियोग में आत्महत्या करी थी।
So just to repeat that, he says, Guru Gobind ne putro de yog atmahatya kari si. So Guru Gobind Singh Ji, at the back of his Jar Sabzade being Shaheed, he committed suicide as well.
ਇਹ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਇਸ ਕਿਤਾਬ ਤੇ ਇਹ ਪਬਲਿਸ਼ ਕੀਤੀ ਸ਼੍ਰੋਮਣੀ ਕਮੇਟੀ ਨੇ। ਸੋ ਇਹ 5 ਕਿਤਾਬਾਂ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ ਇਸ ਟਾਈਮ ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਉਹ +2 ਦੀਆਂ ਨੇ। ਇਹ ਸਾਰੇ ਵੱਖਰੇ ਵੱਖਰੇ ਰਾਈਟਰ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਇਹ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਸਕੂਲ ਸਿੱਖਿਆ ਬੋਰਡ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ ਪ੍ਰਵਾਨਗੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਹੋਈ ਆ। ਤੇ ਮੈਂ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਕਿ ਇਹ ਕਿਤਾਬ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਆ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਪਬਲਿਸ਼ ਹੋਈ ਆ ਤੇ ਇਹ ਕਿਤਾਬ ਸ਼੍ਰੋਮਣੀ ਕਮੇਟੀ ਕੋਲ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਆਈ ਤੇ ਕਿਵੇਂ ਨਾਗਪੁਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ RSS ਦੀ ਮੀਟਿੰਗ ਹੋਈ, ਇਹ ਸਾਰਾ ਉਹਦੇ 'ਚ ਦੱਸਿਆ।
Just a question for you. SGPC you mentioned earlier, Shroomani Committee. Who are these people? And so who are they first of all? The person don't know who they are. It's very simply. And how are they allowing this to happen?
I think the SGPC is a system that's been corrupt for a while, my personal opinion. It's, it's run by a certain political party, a certain family. That family is run by the central government. So in essence, the SGPC is directly controlled by the central government. And it's a way of them keeping control on Sikh affairs. One of the kind of prime examples, Ram Rahim, who pretended to be Guru Gobind Singh Ji Maharaj, was, kind of given a roti beti ki saaj band and kind of everything from the Akal Takht. He was, kind of says that we have got nothing to do with him, and then khaya. And the SGPC, on the saying of the Badal Parwar, came in and took that away. And that evoked many things. The Burgari Morcha, many things came out of that, in which the Sangat then, did a Sarbat Khalsa, and they, in that Sarbat Khalsa, took and said that the current people in charge of the Panj Takht are eradicated, and gave the seva to Jethedar Jagtar Singh Hawara. And that cut, you just type in 2015 Sarbat Khalsa and you see the reaction when the Sangat mentioned Jethedar Hawara's name. But like the whole system, and that was a way of trying to challenge the corrupt system, the SGPC, and that book that you just read has been authorized by the SGPC and the Punjab board to be, used in schools. So it's shocking that our systems are corrupt to the very core. And, how can we move forward when our whole institution itself is corrupt? And, one of the things that we need to start looking at is internally, like, do we need another Sarbat Khalsa? Do we need the Panth to come together again and say, look, this is not working. The Akal Takht is currently working, at the say-so of the central government. And there's countless evidence for that, whether that was the 328 Surups that went missing, how that was brushed under the carpet, and how, many of the things that are happening, whether it was, advocating for our Bandi Singhs, our political prisoners, that should have been a movement that was led by the SGPC, but it's having to be run by certain other individuals. This Qawmi Insaf Morcha that's going on in Chandigarh at the moment, the SGPC is not backing that, whereas they should be saying, these Singhs that have been in jail for the last 30 years, they should be out because, they were political prisoners for what happened 30 years ago, and they've served their sentences. And there's people in jail, whereas Bilqis Bano case where 11 members of a family were killed, people were raped, they're out. People that, countless bombings in India, they, the killers of Rajiv, like there's so many examples of how people were in jail for things that they did, but they weren't sick and they're already walking free. Prime example, this Ram Rahim guy.
Yeah.
He went in jail for, countless rapes, and he's on parole walking the streets now. And we've got our Surme that have been in jail for the last 30 years, and they stood up against an insurgency. They stood up for the rights of Punjabiyat and Punjabis and Sikh, and they've been in jail for the last 30 years.
And can we get a hold of these books as well? Or is it very difficult?
They're quite easily to get hold of in Punjab.
Okay.
Even if you Googled some of them, when I was looking into the, because I always check, it's not just his say, so I went into actually every book.
Yeah.
And when we create this video, the covers that we've put on are from them books.
Wow.
It is all written in them books, and you could probably order them online if you wanted to.
Nice, because it'd be good if, even if the Sangha are watching this, if you get more time, then you order the books, look at them, and make your own videos and put the details out, because again, we can't read the whole book and present the whole book to you, but that way we can get more of this, this false prachara and get the right prachara as well. So
yeah,
maybe something you guys can do while watching this video as well.
Okay, so I think the next topic we're going to move on to is
The
what's
water.
going on in Punjab. Yeah, the water, Punjab. So this video is of a pind called Hirpur in Ropar, and this video kind of is of the villagers speaking to a news channel and explaining the current situation of that village. So let's have a look at what they're saying, and then we can discuss what the issue is here.
ਬੋਰ ਆ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਿਰਫ 18 ਫੁੱਟ ਦੇ ਬੋਰ ਤੇ ਸਾਡੀ ਸਾਰੀ ਜ਼ਮੀਨ ਧਾਨ ਲੱਗਦੇ ਨੇ ਐਤਕੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਹੀਰਪੁਰ ਦੇ ਪਿੰਡ ਵਿੱਚ ਧਾਨ 1 ਕਿੱਲਾ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗ ਰਿਹਾ ਸਿਰਫ ਪਾਣੀ ਦੀ ਵਜ੍ਹਾ ਕਰਕੇ
ਪਸ਼ੂ ਹੈ 5-5 10-10 20-20 ਲੀਟਰ ਪਾਣੀ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਹਾਲਾਤ ਇਹ ਹੈ ਬਾਲਟੀਆਂ ਚੱਕ ਕੇ ਘੁੰਮ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਸਿਰਫ ਸਰਕਾਰੀ ਵਾਟਰ ਸਪਲਾਈ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਨਿਰਭਰ ਇਹ ਪਿੰਡ ਰਹਿ ਗਿਆ
4 ਲੱਖ ਤਾਂ ਨਾਰਮਲ ਮੰਨ ਕੇ ਚੱਲੋ ਹੁਣ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਕਿਹੜਾ ਕਿਤੇ ਡੋਡਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਖੇਤੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਪਈ ਬਹੁਤ ਮੋਟੀ ਹੈ 2.5 ਕੁਆਂਟਲ ਕਨੈਲ ਦਾ ਝਾੜਨਾ
ਪੰਜਾਬ 'ਚ ਧਰਤੀ ਹੇਠਲਾ ਪਾਣੀ ਖਤਰਨਾਕ ਹੱਦ ਤੱਕ ਹੇਠਾਂ ਜਾ ਚੁੱਕਾ ਏ। ਇਸ ਗੱਲ ਦਾ ਜਿਉਂਦਾ ਜਾਗਦਾ ਸਬੂਤ ਨੂਰਪੁਰ ਬੇਦੀ ਦੇ ਪਿੰਡ ਹੀਰਪੁਰ 'ਚ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਵੇਗਾ। ਪਿੰਡ ਦੇ ਹਾਲਾਤ ਇੰਨੇ ਮਾੜੇ ਹੋ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਤੇ ਪਲਾਇਨ ਦਾ ਖਤਰਾ ਮੰਡਰਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਏ। ਜਿਹੜਾ ਪਾਣੀ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ 20 ਤੋਂ 30 ਫੁੱਟ ਤੱਕ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਸੀ ਉਹੀ ਹੁਣ 100 ਫੁੱਟ ਤੋਂ ਹੇਠਾਂ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਚੁੱਕਾ ਏ। ਹਾਲਾਤ ਇਹ ਹਨ ਕਿ ਖੇਤਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਈਆਂ ਮੋਟਰਾਂ ਵੀ ਛੋਟੀਆਂ ਪੈ ਗਈਆਂ ਨੇ, ਜਿਸ ਕਾਰਨ ਮੋਟਰ ਚਲਾਉਣ ਤੇ ਇੱਕ ਵੀ ਬੂੰਦ ਪਾਣੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਨਿਕਲਦਾ। ਪੀੜਤ ਕਿਸਾਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਪਿੰਡ ਹੀਰਪੁਰ ਦਰਿਆ ਤੋਂ ਸਿਰਫ 1 ਕਿਲੋਮੀਟਰ ਦੀ ਦੂਰੀ ਤੇ ਹੈ। ਕੁਝ ਸਾਲ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਨਲਕਿਆਂ ਤੇ ਬੋਰਾਂ ਰਾਹੀਂ ਸਿਰਫ 20 ਤੋਂ 30 ਫੁੱਟ ਤੇ ਪਾਣੀ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਸੀ, ਪਰ ਹੁਣ ਸਾਰੇ ਲਗਭਗ ਬੋਰ ਫੇਲ ਹੋ ਗਏ ਨੇ।
ਸਾਡਾ ਤਾਂ ਬੇੜਾ ਗਰਕ ਕਰਤਾ ਨਜਾਇਜ਼ ਮੈਨਕ ਨੇ ਵੀ 70 ਦੇ ਕਰੀਬ ਬੋਰ ਬੰਦ ਹੋ ਗਏ। ਤਾਂ ਆਹ ਲਿਸਟ ਆ ਜੀ ਹਰੇਕ ਆਪਣਾ ਚੱਕੀ ਫਿਰਦਾ ਮੈਂ ਸਾਰੇ SSP ਦਫ਼ਤਰ ਵੀ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਮੈਨਕ ਵਿਭਾਗ ਦੇ ਅਫਸਰ ਨੂੰ।
So this is a pind Hirpur, and 72 said 70 tubewells ਸਾਡੀਆਂ ਬੰਦ ਹੋ ਗਈਆਂ। The village is struggling at the moment because it's run out of water, and because the groundwater is depleted to such a level where only at 20 feet they used to be able to extract water using the submersible pumps and these tubewells. Now it's gone past 100 foot and they haven't got enough powerful machines to pull water up from that level, and they're struggling. So it's something that we've been talking about for a while. Punjab's on the verge of becoming a desert, and here's kind of, I'd say, the first you could say the first war on water has started, where we have got our first example of a village running out of water, and it's only gonna, if we don't do something about it, it's only gonna continue.
I remember, I think you said it was 2050, Punjab will become a desert.
So they say in 2037, many of the villages that
That's
are
14 years away.
yeah, well they gave the estimation 15 years ago, a few years back, and now
Wow.
they're saying 15 to 20. So there's a projection till 2037, many of the major cities will run out of drinking water, and then 2050 we're talking it's going to be quite drastic if the projection goes the way it is.
But then, like all these times we have floods in India, why doesn't that, because that's a lot of water that comes in, why isn't that sorting this issue out?
So when you have flooding, you have surface water. The water sitting on the surface is not recharging your groundwater.
Okay.
And there's reasoning why, there's kind of many reasons why your water stays on your surface and doesn't seep down. Once you're kind of how absorbent your soil is. Our soil gets changed to fit a certain crop, which is rice, and to do that they do something called puddling, where they flood the fields. So the fields are kind of being designed at the moment to flood so that they could grow the rice crop. We don't have technology at the moment, like such as boring or kind of reverse submersible pumps where we can recharge the groundwater. And for that, you can't just get flood water and throw it straight down into the ground, because the groundwater you have has gone through thousands of years of kind of filtration via rocks and soil, and you can't just drill a hole all the way down and throw that water back down, because that water might have runoff, might have bioaccumulation or biomagnification of pesticides and fertilizers and other harmful chemicals from factories. And if you just get any water and start pushing it down into your groundwater, eventually you're going to extract that to drink, and that could cause many other issues in the future.
Hanji.
So then there's certain technologies that you have to put in and things you have to do to kind of recharge that groundwater. It can't just be any water that you use to recharge groundwater. But the floods are an example of how much water is held in Bhakra, which is a dam which dams Punjab's waters, which is so ironic because it's that very dam which has caused issues of this village at the moment. And I'll tell you why. Punjab's water is dammed. What do Punjabis use to extract water to irrigate their fields? Tube wells.
Yeah.
And because they've been using tube wells for the last 2 decades, the level of water has decreased, and now that same dam that floods us is the same dam that's parching us of water in the first place. And because Punjab doesn't have any control over that dam under the 1966 Reorganisation Act, Act 78, Act 79 and Act 80, which took Punjab's riparian rights away from it in an unconstitutional change, says that Punjab doesn't have any say over its headworks, over its rivers, over its over its waters. So when it rains and they need to open the floodgates, they don't ask Punjab. Punjab doesn't have a seat at the BBM board. The BBM board is a board for the actual dam, and the central government controls that board. Punjab doesn't have it for its own dams, which were created from Punjab's finances. They don't even have a seat at the table, and that was removed after the Kisan Morcha because it was a way to teach Punjab a lesson of saying, look, you guys, you're going to stand up against us. And they were removed from many boards. After the Kisan Morcha, Punjab's Chandigarh University was taken away from Punjab's administration, given to the central government. Punjab was removed from the agricultural board. Hence, being the breadbasket of India, it doesn't have a seat at the agricultural board on a national level.
That's crazy.
So these are ways that, the victory that we call of the Kisan Morcha, sometimes we don't realize the other effects that it's had. And I just realized back onto the migration issue, the very advertisement from the
I was trying not to. I was gonna make a joke out of it. It wasn't probably the right time to do it. But look at this on the screen.
The scary statistics. I've just come back from Vancouver. 68,000 crore is invested from foreign students going into Punjab just to Canada alone. And you know what that equates to in Canadian dollars? 11.4 billion Canadian dollars annually.
Wow.
If you look at Canada's, I think it's for its budget, I think it only has for its military around 20-30 billion. And 10% of that is coming from Punjabi students alone investing that in taking. Because every student going has 18 lakh karja on his head that he's going with. And
so it's 50%, right? If it's 11 billion, that's 20 billion.
Yeah, I'm not sure the exact figures.
Okay.
I think the education is 30 billion.
Okay.
Like 10%, we're talking 33% of the education is coming in from the 11.4 billion. And you can see in itself that we are chucking money out of Punjab by these students leaving Punjab, but it's not their fault. I wouldn't say it's migration. It's basically displacement. They've been displaced because of the situation in Punjab. But eventually, Punjab is going to become so empty that it's not going to stay Punjab anymore. Punjab's, it's dispersed internationally. But then if Punjabis aren't living in Punjab, if the language of Punjab isn't Punjabi, if there's no 5 rivers there, then what, if they do another kind of reorganization in 10 years' time, it necessarily doesn't. And then when you don't have your own say, your own land, then who's to say that your Gurdwara are going to be controlled? We've got Gurdwara in Pakistan, but many of them, they're locked or they're disappearing because, we aren't there to look after them.
Yeah.
And it's because we are the ones that are going to fulfill them interests of preserving our history, our heritage, our culture, our Gurdwara. And if we're not in Punjab or in India, then will that mean that our history will just become mythology in the future as well? Look at the Mayan people. The civilization suffered a drought. Until today, there's a Mayan calendar, and there's so many of these pyramids and these buildings they find in ruins in the jungle. But still, they don't understand who they were, what they were, where they came from. The pyramids in Egypt, there's so many documentaries on conspiracy theories of how they were built. Was it aliens? How did they do what they did? But why did the Egyptian people become extinct? Because they ran out of water. And that history became mythology. Ityas became Ityas. Every civilization that's ever settled in the world has settled where it settled because of water. Yellow River in China, many examples of how civilization have gone. And even NASA at the moment, when they go to another planet, what's the first thing they look for? Water. Why? Because Mara says, Pehla pani jiyo hai, jit harya sab koi. That the foundations of life are from water. And if your water is being eradicated in Punjab, then what is the future of Punjab?
That's crazy. Just getting rid of all the water.
So I mean, water has been center point and pivotal to many of the political issues in Punjab. Even in 1982, the Kapuri Morcha, which launched the Dharam Yudh Morcha, was all based on the SYL canal issue, which was based on Punjab's water being further diverted to other states. And many of the youth didn't even know about the SYL issue until Sidhu Moosewala. So it's understanding our history and understanding the issues that are prominent to us today. There's a saying in Punjabi, especially amongst the Singhs, that gave Shahidi, and they said, Sadi maut nu na royo, sadi soch nu bachayo. Don't cry at my death, but keep my vision, my ideology alive. Now, the ideology of those people that sacrificed themselves in the last 30 years, it was Sikhi, it was to protect Punjab's waters and Punjab's language. Look at the Anandpur Mata. Now, that in itself, we aren't preserving that. We shouldn't be in a place now where they give everything that they did, and we're in a worse position than we were before they left.
Yeah.
So it's something that we really need to think about going forward.
Are we going to carry on this clip, or is that pretty
No,
much
I think, the rest of the video is just, it's going through the details and he's talking about the issues in the village. So I think that's pretty much all the reaction videos today, yeah.
And it's crazy because, in the first podcast that we did, you talked about, the 5 issues of Punjab. And, we've gone through pretty much 3 of those, water, the drugs, and then the education. And, just through this, we've just learned so much about the current state of Punjab, about stuff that you spoke about in that podcast. I was almost like, okay, you're speaking about it, but now we're actually seeing it physically happening. So, make sure you guys check out that podcast. And, what have you got planned then going forward in terms of, with this collaboration on basis of Sikhi and Saving Punjab? What are we looking to do, and what can the Sangha look forward to in the future?
So the idea is that we go through each issue and we do a deep dive video of each issue. So I'm talking to you about the Reorganisation Act and exactly where Punjab's water was dammed. And I think it'd be good if we could, when we do an in-depth video, we show you visuals of exactly Punjab's map, exactly where the dams were, exactly where now the flooding is happening, and how it's happening, how the canals are used to kind of take 75% of Punjab's water away. And then going to kind of the deep, kind of more of a, we spent 1 hour talking about the issues of Punjab, but I'm saying let's do, an hour and a half on each issue. So it goes into kind of the deep kind of chronological order of how, this went about and kind of what the repercussions of all that's happened in Punjab. So whether that's the water issue, the drugs issue, the health issue, the education issue, the religious issues in Punjab, and kind of the dilution of the Punjabi culture, the economicide of Punjab, how the economy was once number 1 and now it's gone to number 17, how special economic zones were created to drive the industries out of Punjab, and especially with the displacement, the out-migration and what they have caused in Punjab, the agricultural sector, just an hour on that, on how, why the Kisan Morcha happened, why, we're still in the same situation, if not worse situation, and kind of doing a deep dive analysis on each topic. So that's kind of what we're planning in the future now, when we find the time in our busy schedules.
We meant to do it today, but then we decided to do the reaction series
Yeah,
instead.
I think
so-
this reaction was a lot more important because it's
Yeah.
prominent to what's happening at the moment. And it's important that we understand, like especially with the La Casa Dana video and the Jota videos, and like these people that are currently getting arrested because of their activism in Punjab. You know, it's our duty to kind of at least highlight what they're doing for us on the ground in Punjab.
Definitely. And if you guys have any videos that you like us to react to in the future, specifically on this topic of Punjab, you know, please do send those videos in. And, you know, definitely check out Saving Punjab on all their social media platforms. I think you're most active on Instagram on my...
Yeah, Instagram at
Yeah.
the moment. But follow the link tree. Make sure you join like our announcement groups. There's a Telegram group on there now as well. So it just kind of keeping our footfall away from Instagram as well, because I don't know about you guys, but I find it very unreliable with the restrictions that we're facing. The kind of things that we want to say, our videos get deleted, our posts get deleted. I don't know why, but it's happening. So we still need to communicate with the Sangat and the people that care about Punjab. So maybe we've tried to set up these other channels where we could keep a communication with you guys.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Bhai Gurpreet Singh Ji, for your time, you know, just giving us so much knowledge and insight onto these different topics as well. So we look forward to having you on again and, you know, starting that series, going through each topic in more detail and just learning more about the current issues of Punjab, but also the most important thing, how can we save Punjab as well?
And
Finish off here?
Yep.
Okay, thank you so much.
Waheguru ji ka
Waheguru ji ka
khalsa,
khalsa, Waheguru ji ki fateh.